Good morning to some of you, and I think good evening to those of you who are in Australia, New Zealand and other countries.
In this country of 5 million people, same size as Yorkshire's population, but Yorkshire's only 5k of the UK's landmass, and New Zealand's got the same landmass as the UK. This city has grown and hit its 2030 growth target. It has a massive shortfall of housing, as does the country. The average wage here is $60,000, so that's about 30 grand. The average house price is $627,000. 90% of renters can't achieve that. We have 700 families on the waiting list, 3,500 public tenancies, a 6,000 dwelling shortfall over the next 2 years, and some of the highest homelessness and overcrowding in the country.
Now, we're about to just go across the water to Wendy Hayhurst in Australia, aren't we?
So social housing and social housing definitions similar to those in the UK. We make up 4% of all dwellings in Australia. So we are a tiny, tiny proportion of Australia's dwelling stock. We've got a very poor relation to housing benefit. We charge income-based rents. The other thing you should know about Australia is that we've obviously faced more than one momentous event. We also have those dreadful bushfires that you would have seen. We've had drought, so we've had towns where waters have to be driven in. The other thing just to let you know is we don't have any legal obligations to homelessness, and we do believe in the Australian dream, which is to own our own home.
Okay, we're a housing association that manages 7,500 homes with just under 20,000 residents dispersed across every county and island. We had a long lockdown, essential work was very limited and people weren't allowed outside a 5-kilometre radius from their home. In Clwyd, we started out with a purpose that we know different from anyone else in this room, which was to keep everyone safe physically and mentally. Working with staff, one of the best things we did was a health check, basically understanding how people were coping and whether it was similar or different across departments. Some people are very comfortable at home, others are still frustrated at home, getting more frustrated at home. So what we have done is reconfigured all our office spaces. Our customer contact centre has been the most challenged. We're still not able to work as regularly in people's homes as we would like, but we are out and about carrying out in-state inspections and allocating homes to residents.
I think one of the things worth mentioning to colleagues listening is that actually Africa is urbanizing faster than any other region. The projection is that over the next 50 years, 7 out of 20 of the world's biggest cities will be located in Africa. So you're talking about mega cities. You've got a challenge of increasing demand, rapid rate of urbanization, but supply remains very subscale. You've got lack of adequate supply. You've got huge challenges around the quality of housing. So it leads you to extreme housing prices. Rent as a percentage of income is roughly about 70%. Let's look at the positive side. The young population, young cities provide huge opportunity. Technology is playing a critical role. Aspiration is going up.
I hope that you will have picked up on our latest plans, the biggest investment in affordable housing for a decade, a first homes pilot of 1,500 homes which will be sold to first-time buyers. Our revolution, and I think I can call it that, in social housing began in earnest last year when we lifted the HRA borrowing cap, and that puts our local councils, I think, in the driving seat to deliver a new generation of social homes if they want to and need to. Councils really have been at the forefront of our efforts against coronavirus, and for those of you that have been following our new environment bill, that will help us protect and enhance biodiversity around what we build.
Thanks for your attention, and I'll see you after lunch.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the consumer regime as it is, what we know about of the white paper. So some of this is speculation, some of this is known. We're looking forward to having a closer and clearer working relationship with the ombudsman. As things stand at the moment, we have a number of limitations on our consumer regulation powers and appetite. In the green paper, there were 5 key things: ensuring that homes are safe and decent. There are aims around empowering residents. There's an aim around swift and effective resolution of dispute. There's an aim around encouraging professional customer service culture in housing management. And then on the end, there was a point about increasing development, sustaining development, and increasing opportunities for home ownership. I would expect safety to be in there quite clearly. The exact responsibilities, who's accountable for what in terms of government agencies, yet to be determined. So what we do in economic regulation is we engage with providers to gather assurance as to their compliance with the economic standards.
We are a service that has grown in terms of the stuff we're handling, typically about 17% growth in complaints each year over the last 5 years, and we are growing roughly by about 35% in terms of headcount. Insofar as the white paper is concerned, look, let's see what it says. We deal with private rent, we deal with new build, we deal with leasehold. There is real breadth to what we do. We're a proactive ombudsman. Resolving individual disputes is obviously a core key part of our role. The value of home has been really emphasised through what we've seen in the last few weeks. My son is trying to break in, unbelievably. Henry, you can't come in. We have a strong relationship with the regulator. The thing which I would highlight under the scheme is our referral powers are broadened. So what next? So we're asking, so it's on a comply or explain basis. So we're asking landlords to self-assess by the end of this calendar year. I mean, let's be clear, I suspect for many landlords, they'll look at the code and they'll say, well, we're doing this, and that's great.
I don't think that housing needs reviving. We haven't been anywhere through the pandemic. In fact, I think the social housing sector has made a really good effort at representing itself and shown extraordinary resilience. We've continued to provide essential services throughout. Particularly, we've protected the fundamental business model. Of course, there were impacts. Construction paused. Working as we do in London and the South East, the demand for rented housing remains extremely strong. Before the pandemic, there was significant risk in the sales market. There was also, and there continues to be, a massive challenge from the building safety environment post the Grenfell tragedy. We want to operate counter-cyclically, but we're required to operate cyclically because of cross-subsidy. Critically, currently, people need jobs and the economy needs activity. Housing associations want to contribute to the economic recovery. However, to do what we need to do, we need some things. We need a higher grant rate. We need to find a funding mechanism for intermediate housing that is less dependent on government grant. Thirdly, we need some boundaries around the building safety and the fire safety potential costs.